Is it possible for the National Assembly to bring into being a brand new constitution, which, depending on what the people want, may actually affect the position of the National Assembly itself and the entrenched powers therein? Do you think that's feasible?
Well, let me first of all say that, and I hope you will also make the same admission, that the members of the Nigerian National Assembly, they are not aliens, and they don't come from the moon. They are Nigerians, and they are representing definite constituencies in all of the states of the Federation. So they are serving the purpose of representation. Why can't they be trusted? I think the problem is coming from the fact two things. One is that I think that, well, again, it's not that I have no respect for older people, but there are people who think that they have messed up this country so much that they now want to resolve the problems that they themselves created before their lifetime ends, and they're in a hurry to do that. Otherwise, democracy is a slow process, all right, but it is a self-correcting process. If people are saying that we have all of the people in the National Assembly are idiots, so let's wait for 2019, and then let's put people who are not idiots there. But otherwise, if you believe in democracy, if you're not a promoter of militocracy, because it's the military who taught some of these noisemakers that things can be done overnight, decree, and then it's promulgated and becomes law. But we have a process. So we should respect the parliament, unless we are saying we are no longer a democracy. Then let's go and say we will choose dictatorship.
Now, Mr. Lehman, Galtima Lehman, you're going to have the final word on this segment. You've listened to all the other guests and, of course, the disparate opinions there. But you have been in the trenches yourself. I dare say that amongst all of us seated here, you are the only person who has actually been a candidate for the presidency. And therefore, you might have some actual experience about what this is about. What's your own take?
You see, first of all, when I was in a mosque, when they were condemning the Nigerian constitution, and I made it a point, I think about 3 or 4 weeks ago, to go and buy the constitution and read it. I've been reading it. And believe me, a thorough work was done. It's not like it was a document that was, planted, forced down the throat of Nigerians. Seminars were held. I found out when I read it, and, memoranda submitted and all that kind of a thing and all that. But having said this, the representation in the parliament, as Malan Garba has rightly said, is the constitutional means to do so. But the reality is that the senators, the House of Rep members, the way the system threw them and presented them as it is, was not the kind of system that the Nigerians would have expected, because the electoral process itself needed some kind of changes and all that kind of thing. But quickly, as you said, I should say the final word. If you look at the underpinning problem of this country, it's not really about structuring and all that kind of. Look, I drove all the way from, let's say, Mocha down to Bida, then Bida to Mina, Mina down to Abuja. Look, Nigerians are talking about practical realities, which I believe His Excellency, if he addresses them within this short period of time, this issue about restructuring and all these other things, the roads are bad. Unemployment issues, I was listening to him and he said, oh, look, he's going to have about 10,000 employment opportunities in the states. Yeah, I believe that's a drop in the ocean. Nigerians are thinking in terms of how they are going to have the aggregate economy within a short period of time, transformed. And that's why when His Excellency came on board, a lot of people trekked from Lagos down there expecting humongous changes, and still he can do them. What do you need to do to, like in the South, the potholes, making businesses completely very difficult between Lagos and this, So if he can frontally deal with those fundamental issues, all this talks about, restructuring is neither here nor there. There are countries that we don't even have constitution. Like Britain, I understand they don't even have the constitution. It's, so basically, what are the elements they have? Now, the Nigerians are not taking away the documents. What can they have on the bread, on the table? And that's the reality. That's the man in the trenches that you're talking about. The reality is that Nigerians want light, they want water, and they believe that within this short period of time, His Excellency should be in a position, having addressed the security issues, having addressed the corruption issues, with this chief judge that is very popular. What's his name again? That
Ayo Salami.
Salami, yes, exactly. That Nigerians are going to address, where Buhari is going to address the corruption issue frontally, and I think by the time it is 2019, if he is able to do that within this short period, I don't think there will be anybody who will be strong enough to contest against him. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Before we round up this segment, each of you have some breaking news.
Yeah, indeed. Something is just coming into us here. Now, the police have rescued, abducted Assistant Commissioner of Police, that's Emmanuel Agene, who was kidnapped by gunmen along the Benin-Gwari Futua Road last week. The Kaduna State Commissioner of Police, who confirmed the rescue, told journalists that the ACP was rescued today in Benin-Gwari village, Kaduna State. ACP Agene was until his abduction on Wednesday, September the 28th, serving with the Criminal Investigation Department of Zamfara State Police Command. Just to say once again that the ACP, Emmanuel Agene, who was kidnapped by gunmen along the Benin-Gwari Futua Road last week, has now been rescued. So
that's it. So all that remains for us is to thank our guests. Let me start this time from our Abuja studios, Mr. Galtima Liman and Alhaji Garba Shehu. Thank you very much for coming to our special program today. Here in our studios, Professor Lai Olurode and Chief Godi Wazuruke, thank you so much for being our guests today. And I'm sure we've all taken something or the other from your various contributions. We'll go on a break now, and when we come back, we'll move on to our next
segment. It's going to be the economy.
Indeed.
The economy, that's bread and butter issues.
More likely security.